It's me, I'm back. I don't know if anybody's gonna come in. I hope that just the faithful come in. I think anyone who pokes their head in knows what I mean. I feel like we've got a large enough army now. I feel like I've recruited enough of you to really kind of make a difference. I feel like together we can change things. We can make this, the way it's supposed to be. We just have to, at this point, it's not even a matter of working together anymore. It's about, working for me, understanding the situation that I'm in, and because I'm in it, we're all in it. That whatever affects one affects all of us, especially when that one is me. We come down here, guys. So that looks crazy. That looks like I'm trying to stare into outer space. Why don't you come down here? All right, guys. See that green screen behind me? It's there intentionally. It's intentionally supposed to give the look like there's another streamer who doesn't know what he's fucking doing. All right. I know, fuck. This whole thing is crazy. You are doing such a good job. I noticed that it's just us in here, and we can talk about it now. But we've got to now that we've got the core group, and all the other hundreds and thousands of followers, that we got in under the ruse that, hey man, we're just a video game channel. There's really nothing else to see here. Look at this guy play video games. He doesn't even know how he does it. And then these other guys come in and they're all buffoons and they're pretending like they don't know. So that's how I gather you people. I gather you people with the, look at this. I'm a classic video game guy, and look at what counts as putting out content now. Like, look at, this is fucking crazy. And you saw that, and you stuck around. And you know why you stuck around? You stuck around because I planted the seed. I never really told you directly about the cause. We just talked about video games. And if you think about the video games that we played, I mean, there were, some role-playing games that clearly could have explained some of the ways that things are going to go when we go to the new place. So, I played some Mario RPG, and then I played some Japanese games to show you what things might be like when we get to the place. These were the kinds of games that I was playing, and it was to prepare us for what comes next. So even though I've got this core group of people that are around me that are going to help push the agenda, for our mission to succeed, in order to get you in there to even start to accomplish that, I needed to set up this whole bumbling, I don't know how to use technology. But I appreciate you for seeing through that, for seeing through the ruse that this was about video games, old video games, shit nobody even plays that. Like there are people who really do. I think they come in here to watch me play Super Squirrely Guy 3 or something, and I swear to God, I never played Super Squirrely Guy #1. I never even liked video games, but I play it, and they make me actually play the game and talk about it. Like, I've got to be like I'm part of the fucking thing. You guys would love it. It's like a hive mind. It's this opportunity for people who are unified beyond, like, for the same thing. Like, it's for people who want the same thing, and they all together collectively want that thing, and they come together as a group, and they find a way to do it. They figured out a way. All right. Did you ever see Tron? Hold on a second. I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta go to the bathroom. I just have to pee though, guys. When I come back though, I'm going to continue to tell you about the thing that I was just telling you about, which I will tell so much better if you remind me what it was. But when I come back, I'm gonna tell you all about it. All right, guys. I think we were talking about Japanese Super Buster Girl on the Super Famicom system. And it was right when we got to level 3-1 and that crazy thing happened with the girl. Do you remember? Sorry about that, guys. I saw that somebody had just tapped into the stream, which happens. You know, sometimes these fucking punks, these fucking cyberpunks, they'll tap into the stream and they'll make sure that you're talking about what you say you're talking about, because they don't want the revolution. If they came in here and saw me talking to all of you people about this fucking thing that no one should know about, you know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't even say what I was able to do, but if you've ever seen the movie Tron, all comes back to fucking Tron. Have you not seen Floodfetter? No, you fuck. Any question I ask you, the answer is no. All right. There's this movie Tron, right? And there's also this movie Weird Science. I don't know. Let me know if you've ever seen Tron or Weird Science, because I could explain this theory to you much better if you could either tell me if you'd like me to tell it in the way that it's more like Weird Science, or would you like me to tell it in the way that's more like Tron? So I could tell it like the Weird Science way or the Tron way. Both of them are the same. I'm glad we're finally getting to talk about this, because I was getting tired of talking about, oh, Puckman. They used to call him Puckman when he came out in Japan, but then they brought him to the US and they had to change it to Pac-Man because it was too easy to write an F on the side, and then it was Fuckman. And they were like, these filthy Americans, they were like, Fuckman all over our machines. That was my Japanese accent. And they were right, we would have, you know. They probably already turned that into something even more horrible by just typing, you know, just because that's what they do. That's not what we do. I forget where that was going, guys. Oh, I got tired of telling that story. That's a story everybody, oh, and did you know that there's a dump somewhere in Arizona that has 63 billion empty, brand new ET boxes for the Atari 2600. You know what? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about any of it. I don't give a fuck about when I got here. This guy had this, you know, when I got here, I was like, here's what I'll do. I'll get a bunch of, hold on a second. I'll be right back. All right. Okay, we're gonna calm down just a second. I'm getting a little too fired up, and I'm saying things that I probably shouldn't say. And Floodfetter's gotten really quiet because he knows that that what I'm saying is valid. And I think he's shocked that I'm saying it to all of you because you're hidden in the chat. But just because you're hidden in the chat doesn't mean you're not there. Floodfetter is brave enough to be in the chat, you know, not shadowed. So let's give it up for him. Him and I are the ones really leading the charge, but the rest of you who are here, and you know who you are. You came here because of your love of classic video games. But now there's more to the story. And the reason that you've been chosen to be part of our rich tapestry is so that you can help us get to the next level. And of course that level comes through you just telling me how you'd like to hear about it, because there's a way to explain it in a perfectly easy, down to earth, not too heavy. Maybe there's even a joke in there somewhere. Like I could do that in the weird sciencey way, or I could take it the other way and do the Tron way, where it's more of like an action-y, adventure-y. So, you know, there's two different ways, but they're both the same thing that we found that I really need you guys to be part of. You know, you guys who played the side scrollers, I love your linear thinking, you know, where you think in a straight line in that way that you do. But yeah, so all of this is happening, and it's been happening around us for millennia. It's been hanging around us forever, and no one bothered to look. Floodfetter, you didn't look. You didn't even know to look, and it's not your fault because nobody told you until now that there is a way. If you want to have the life of Zelda, if you want to be a fucking plumber in a mushroom kingdom, there's a way that you can do it. There's a way that we can get there together. And that's why I brought you guys specifically. That's why I started it out with just those few subliminal things in CGC. And then after you've watched, and after I knew that you knew and you understood, that's when I could really start telling you the truth. And I feel like tonight is the most honest that I've ever been able to be about it. Again, I can't really talk about the main thing. Like there's some, you know, like there's some things I can talk. I can talk about a lot of stuff. I mean, you know, it's just that the one thing specifically about me and what's going on here and stuff is you know, that is a big secret that I can't tell you about, other than to say, you know, there's, you know, it's not just me. You guys know there's other, you know, people that are doing this thing. So, gamers, now that you know about my religion, my machine, my plan, what do you think? How many of you will come on board? Come back on Tuesday night. What? Floodfetter, I'm not talking to you. If you don't know what I'm saying, if you don't understand, then you don't understand. I was trying to include all the people who don't know in on what's going on. You know what I mean? Like the whole mission under the mission. That it's not really Bloodfetter thinks I've gone schizo. Dude, you know what? You don't have to play that up anymore, man. I'm telling you, there are people in here. But those people aren't as brave as you to be out there and to be like, yes, I'm part of the group. Not only am I part of the group, I was one of the ones that was in there from the beginning. I was a fucking Patreon. I helped keep this guy streaming when nothing else was going on. When nobody was watching, he knew. He was like, this guy has a fucking message to give. He's not just whatever, playing some video game. Like, he's playing the video game, but then over here off to the side, he's like, hey guys, there's a secret. What I'm saying is, all of you are welcome to join us on this new adventure. But there's really only a handful of kids that have gotten the keys to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. And Floodfetter is one of those people. So they're all going to come in. They're going to see the full plan. And they're going to get to see what we really are. I mean, what we're made out of. What we're going to show you guys what kind of people we are. And then we're going to give you the opportunity to be one of those people as well. Again, all these other people watching, the people who are just liking away, my legs are going up, 1812, 1813, 1814. The amount of love that I'm getting is amazing. But Floodfetter, you, Multi-Gunmen, Bill Miller's Duck, Darren, all these guys, you guys were never in on the prank. You knew from the start that it was never about video games. You were all part of the fucking team who were in on the ground floor. I'm now opening it up for all the other people who now we can be more open about it. We don't have to hide behind the video games. Believe me, I'm still going to play video games on here. I'm still going to dumb it up because I do not want them to come down on me. And you know what? They will. This kind of shit was never what they expected. I'm telling you that there is a way to get into video games. And every stream that I've done up to this point was to show you that our people can get in and out of video games. Because I don't know if you've paid attention to me for like the past maybe month that I've been streaming, but I'm the innkeeper from every one of those 8-bit role-playing games. I've got the little glasses and the mustache, and it's kind of, you don't know for sure. I've been that the whole time. I came from a game. I recruited all of you to come with me and be part of the future where you can be in a game. Why it was always inane, and you guys know it, to play video games or watch someone play video games or throw bits at them or throw fucking stickers on them. It was never about that. It was about the idea behind that. It was all the things that we talked about when I was showing you the RPGs, when I was showing you how you spend in the game and how you earn in the game. And I gave you all of these important lessons. And now I'm giving you the opportunity to use those lessons, to come lead a cadre. Come and I'll explain to you what everything means, and you can help lead your own group of the faithful into a video game. And to the faithful who are watching this now, if you want to be in a racing game, you want a high adrenaline, foot to the pedal, racing most of the time. Occasionally there's a cutscene where you might even get to kiss a girl, but it's just a lot of fast racing and crashing. A lot of crashing. The only problem with going into any of these games is there is a lot of pain in these games. You never die because you can always reset, but there are games, and there are games that we really don't want to put people in. We'll fight you if you want to go into the Grand Theft Autos. If you want to pay enough, we'll let you. But I'm just telling you, it's not a game where you want to be. Think about where you might want to be the rest of your life. Maybe you want to be in a 2D scroller. Maybe something like Smurfs. If you're going to spend the rest of your life somewhere, Smurfs, the video game, might be a nice place to spend it. Because you got to occasionally like jump on a ladybug or something. But it's going to be really hard to die. So the 16-bit Smurfs, probably a good game. I would even for me, I would say a great game to go into if if you join our group of the faithful and you go into video games. Just saying, like, don't go into a game where you're completely like getting tortured the whole game, because you really don't. If you can find a game, and speaking of torture, you think like, you know what, I'm going to play a game where I just can't die. Like, I'll go into like the Barbie supermodel game, right? Like in the Barbie supermodel game, you're never going to die. But now you think about it, forever. You're never going to die. You're never going to be in any physical pain. But forever, you're in the fucking Barbie game. You know what's in the Barbie town? There's 5 fucking things. There's a dance studio. There's a photographer studio. There's a workout studio, which is the same as the other studio. There's an apartment where you go and try on your different stuff. And then there's one other building that's called Sugar Daddy's Place that you're not even supposed to visit. So I'm just saying, I don't know that that's the game you're going to want to be in. Because even though you're not going to die, you're going to want to kill yourself. Because that's what happens, guys. If you're in these games and you're by yourself and there's no one else around, and you scream, and you scream, and you scream, no one's going to hear you except for the other people in the game. Now, Barbie, fucking Ken, Candy, whoever else is in the Barbie game, they're not screaming. They don't care anymore. They're fantastic. They're made of plastic. They're in the game all the fucking time. They never leave. They are in there from the time the game goes on till the time the game goes off. They do the same thing. They don't care. It is the people who thought that it would be a good idea when we let them pick any game. You can be in any game you want. Lots of kids want to be in Minecraft. I would not want to be in Minecraft. They don't really show it a lot, but every one of those blocks has a jagged fucking edge. And when you're running around there, you're hitting the sides of these blocks because everything's made out of blocks, and you're constantly writhing in pain. And you don't see it. It's never portrayed on the character. So lots of people went in there and thought that was a good idea. It fucking wasn't. It was a really, really bad idea. Not as bad as the Barbie game. Because in the Barbie game, when it's quiet and you just hear the wails, it's the wails of people who picked the Barbie game is the game that they play forever. And the new people that come are thinking, well, I'm not getting cut up in Minecraft, and I'm not getting killed 73 times a day in Grand Theft Auto. Like, all right, so I'm in the Barbie game, but there's no real pain, but the emotional pain that these, and a lot of them are probably, you know, a lot of them are probably idiots who thought real quick and went, oh, the Barbie game. And then a lot of them were probably like even fans of Barbie, maybe, that they were like, oh my God, I didn't know about video games. I stumbled onto this. You know, we used to do our recruiting in lots of different ways. But yeah, so we have the thing ready. I lost it again, guys. It's really hard to be in these new surroundings, and you know, just even getting used to the way everything works. You know, it's like my legs aren't even my legs, they're all like tingly. So I was explaining that this cult, it's not really a cult, more of a religion, and less of a religion and more of a group, have found a way where we can go into video games. If you go back and watch any of the information that I've ever shared before that, it goes into that a lot deeper. Throughout each of the streams, there were buried hints and stories and things that led you down the path that got you here. You know, whether you came from the YouTube, or maybe you came from one of the, you know, one of the thousands and thousands of videos that got hit that had the subliminal message that sent you guys here. So however we found each other, I'm glad we did, so I can pass on the information. I feel like we've reached our zenith. I don't know that there are anyone, I don't know that there's anyone else that we can really reach out to. I really think that anyone who wants to know at this point is here. So we've all gathered together, and this is where I'm dispensing the information about the cause and about the group and about what we do and about how we're going to do it. Like, that's not like I can't show you the process. It involves, you know, many hours and many levels, and there's, you know, there's a level of commitment. Like, there certainly is. Like, if you're going to go into a video game, and any video game that you want, and be there for the rest of your life, then we're going to make it easy for you. We're going to help direct you. It's not going to be, and we are not a kind of business where we're going to upsell you. It's not like you come in and you're like, look, I just want to be an Atari Outlaw. Like, I love Atari Outlaw, played Atari Outlaw when I was a kid. I want to be an Atari Outlaw. Now, I'm going to suggest to you, like, hey man, maybe you don't want to be an Atari Outlaw. But sometimes you get a guy who's like, hey, fuck you, you don't know what I like 8-bit games, you know, and he's really hardcore, and he goes, and you eventually give up even trying to talk to him, and you go, fine man, I'm going to put you in 8-bit Outlaw, and he doesn't let you finish, but you're like, but, and I don't care, dude, I'll put you in anything you want, but every 10 seconds you're going to get shot, because that is all Outlaw is it's just two guys standing back and forth shooting each other. I didn't think he wanted to do that forever. Like, even in Miss Pac-Man, you get a little bit of a respite while you're running around the fucking mazes before a ghost gets you. There, it's just constantly blam, 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 blam. So you pick a game, every game is going to have death, man. No matter what video game you go into, whatever game you think is going to be the one. If you think this is the way I'm going to fucking run this show, This is the thing that's going to keep me covered. This is going to be the way that people understand how it does. And if I showed you that, and I could at least show you bits of it, but you wouldn't understand the technology anyway. But what it does is it has to simultaneously give something from this world while it takes something from that world. Because like I said, once upon a time, I was in an 8-bit RPG game on the NES in like the early 90s. It was a Final Fantasy. I was the little guy when you came to the inn. It was yellow. There was a little counter around me. And, you know, I would go, rah! And then you would buy shit from me. Don't I look familiar? You guys, it's not like it's not a fucking racist thing. It's an insensitivity thing. Like, you think that all 8-bit in characters look the same. You're of the opinion that I can say that, but I don't really look like that guy. There's 8 million of that guy, and that sucks that you don't see us as individuals. Because if you showed me a picture of the game that I was in, and then you showed me a picture of a game where my buddy Marty is also, you know, here now, and he was an 8-bit character in an inn, and yeah, we look exactly the same. Like, we have the same hair and the same little spectacles, and our mouths are more like squared, but, you know, we don't look exactly the same, and we're both the same character. And when you do that with like bigger characters, it's, you know, it's bad, dude. If you see a guy who happens to be a plumber and he's wearing a red hat and a red shirt, don't you think maybe that guy may have been taken from somewhere else? And then do you think about who was taken to replace him? That's basically what we facilitate. We make it possible for you to go into a video game and take the place of something there, and then that thing comes out here. It's a spiritual thing. I keep saying it's like an invention. It's a spiritual thing where we manage to merge our two worlds. We merge our two worlds together, and we have found a bridge that takes things from the video games. From, if you wanted to be a pong ball, you could be a pong ball. You're not going to have to be a pong ball until we get everyone else liberated. Until then, I'm going to talk you out of choosing a pong ball. It's torture. Don't be a pong paddle. It's nostalgia, but you really don't want to spend the rest of your life like that. Again, eventually, there are going to be people who have to spend their lives like that so we can get more people out of the digital world. Until that happens, though, I know you people, especially you guys. I want you guys to get over first because you get it. You're here because you get it. We're going to get you to the other side, to where things are better. But they're only going to be better for you if you make good choices going in. When we enslave everyone out here, when we get everyone out of the 8-bit, the 16-bit, the 32-bit, the 64-bit, once we get all of them out of the world, then we're going back for the bushes and for the castles. And you guys may just end up being a fucking brick in a castle. But you guys, because you followed early, you get to be part of something where you can choose your character. You get to go into a video game and choose who you are. And again, it's not something that's easy. And it's not something that's free. We're giving you something. We're giving you not just a taste of paradise, we're giving you the keys to paradise. We're saying you like video games. Clearly you like old fucking video games. You're on the Retro Channel. You could be in a video game. You could be Fred Flintstone in the Flintstones on the NES. Maybe you want to be a bad guy. Maybe you want to be Inky, Pinky, Blinky, or Clyde. Whatever you do, dude, you have the opportunity because you're here. You have the opportunity, even if you're not here, if you sold this after the fact. This is some fucking insane shit that I'm telling you. That you're some of the first to openly hear about it. We've got many followers and many people that we've already deported. We've already helped to find their way to the digital world so that digital characters could come over here. So if you contact me, Classic Gaming Collective, you can leave a comment on the Instagram. You can leave a comment anywhere. Just fucking get in touch with me and tell me that you want to be part of the great exchange, the great migration, the great takeover, the great domination. And you guys are going to be able to be part of the sign up now and get to pick who you want to be, what kind of game you want to be in. If you want to be the hero, if you want to be the villain. I think I want to be the princess. If I had to go back, and I don't even know if I could. That's a weird question. If I was digital, right, and I came over, and someone here went over there, and then I took that spot that they were in. So now, for all intents and purposes, I am that person. So now I'm Jason from Darren and Jason, Sega Genesis A to Z, over on YouTube, where everything on there, and that was fucking years of stuff, has all been to build up to this moment where I really let you guys in on what's really been going on, because up until now we've had to keep you in the dark. So I thought now would be the time to enlighten you. If you have questions, concerns, if you'd like to be part of the group, reach out. It's Classic Gaming Collective. We hide under the guise that we're like this nerdy, old-timey video game thing, but we're really part of the revolution to not the revolution, the understanding, the church of reconciliation, where people from the digital world get to come here, people from here get to go to the digital world. And by getting in contact with me early on some social media platform somewhere, I'll be able to direct you on what you have to do to get yourself ready and to be part of the group, the church, the cult, the organization, the invading party, the digitals. come be part of the digitals. And then you can be. And I wonder if, when you're digital, if there's a way that they're going to close the hole. Like I said, I would like to be Princess Daphne. I know Princess Daphne is still available, and she could come over here. But I'm not sure that if I went over there after coming here, I might cease to exist, because in this world, I'm really just a mirror image of what I was in that world. So whatever's here now, my mirror image doesn't mirror me. So if I go back into that world, I may just explode. But if I tried to go into that world, then I could be Princess Daphne. And Princess Daphne could be free. And I bet Princess Daphne would look beautiful as a real person. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to tell you guys, Josh Jack is here. Good. I'm glad you came back. I was explaining that you are one of the ones that are in on the whole thing, and I've been more deeply explaining what we really are and what we're doing. And I know you may not want to speak to it, or you may say, what's this bullshit, like you do. But and Floodfetter knows, and Multi-Gun Man knows, and of course Bill and Darren know to a degree, that this thing was never about playing old video games. It was reaching this shadow group so that they can cross over and be video game characters. And us, video game characters, can come here. But the only way to do it is to, act now, get in contact with me on any of the social medias, and I'll explain more, because I can say a lot here, and I think I have I've said a lot of stuff here, and I don't know how much I can say. Like, I really, I know that I shouldn't even say TOS, but it might be against TOS to even be telling you as much as I've told you already. The world is populated already with characters that were in video games. Like, you will see like Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, and Baby Pac at like an old country buffet. They've gotten, like, somebody already picked them, right? So they're not available anymore. They're over here. But you'll see them, and their skin is a little yellow, and they're big and round, and they're just eating, and they're leading their best fucking lives. They're like, because they don't do that 24 hours a day, but they get to go out and do that. They're not getting chased by ghosts every day. They're having such a great time. And meanwhile, somebody like you who loves video games gets to be Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Baby Pac, and gets to live their life and run around all day and eat ghosts. So they're taken. But there's lots of other characters who would love to come over here. And if you don't volunteer to become a 16-bitter, they're going to force you into 16-bit internment camps where they keep you before they force you into the game, and then you're going to be an NPC. If you're lucky, you'll be an NPC. You could end up being a fucking brick in a wall. When they run out of good shit, you're just going to be wherever we need you to get every last piece of the 16-bit world out. But you don't have to worry about that, because you found me early enough. Josh Jackaboo is thankful for baby wipes. Well played, Josh. Well played. So, he's just so good at just holding it all so tight to his chest. And I wish I could. The thing is, I don't want to tell you about it, but I've been chosen as like the bridge between my people and your people. And we decided, you know, at a quorum. We had a quorum of people, and we thought, who will be the one who will speak for us? And they chose me. They were like, when you were at that inn in that 8-bit RPG, you were so easy to talk to. And the people would come to you to save their games. They trust you. You have to be the one to talk to them. And I was like, all right, dude, deal. I'm on it, man. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to explain the situation. I'm going to tell them how good it, and we're going to open it to a wider audience. And I'm just going to tell them, like, it could be so good for you. There really are some great characters left. And even if they're just background characters, they're happy background characters. And there's, you know, their motion. They don't do the video game thing 24 hours. Well, it depends on how long they're on. Like, I guess some people leave their arcade games on all night, overnight, like 24 hours a day. Like, maybe they're just running around fucking, they're probably running around. I was at the inn 24 fucking 7. You never knew when somebody was going to come in and want to save their game. So it was so monotonous over and over and over again. But that's over. I got to come here. They said, you're the one who bullshits the best. You're the one who understands them the best. You can talk to them, and you can explain it in a way that they should come. Make it sound like a good thing you said. And I was like, all right, I can do that. But I said, but how am I going to get them to see me? And then I said, they're like, oh no, you're really good at human. You know, you're really good at human. You're really good at communicating and explaining. You're good at human. You tell them because you're good at human. And that's why I'm here. I don't know anything about video games except what I know from living there. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, what do you guys know about fucking Canada, Floodfetter, or North Carolina, or wherever you're from? And Josh Jack, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We don't have to say what video game you came from, but you and me and Floodfetter and Multi-Gun Man and Bill and Darren, we all came over the same way. It was the great GTA escape. A bunch of us from other games came in through Grand Theft Auto and then found our way out to the real world. So like I said, you know, I came from an NES game where I was an innkeeper, and then I ended up in fucking Tapper as the innkeeper. You know, I was just working my way through. Then we were in Tapper. Then we were in fucking, I don't even know where we were. We were just randomly showing up in different games, and at each one, we picked up some new character. Like the Tapper bartender came with us, and some furry squirrel came with us from some other game, and then we were back, right? And we were in the real world. And all of us kind of looked at each other, and, you know, before that happened, we had some tough years in Grand Theft Auto, because you got to remember, we didn't really look like we fit in. Like, I was all one shade of yellow, and I could blend into a traffic light as long as it was lit bright yellow. But when the light changes to, you know, red or green, you're going to notice that the yellow light still has a little yellow thing in there. And if you zoomed all the way in, you would see that it was me, right? It was the fucking innkeeper from that NES RPG. Now, the crazy thing is, we were stuck there for 2 years. Some of the guys from the later games, and even the guy that we picked up from the Grand Theft Auto game, I wasn't gonna call you out, Josh Jack, but April Fool's based on. Oh, that's good. I don't know what that means. April's for fools, yo. All right. So back to the shadow government. Back to the story. Back to all about how we got here, and you can get there, and you better get there fast because, you know, good spots are filling up, as they say. You know, if you want a place that you can be proud of, then you better fucking get on board. You can get on board by reaching out to me on any of our social medias. You know, if you see this on Instagram, if you see it on Facebook, if you see it on OnlyFans, wherever you see it, we're Classic Gaming Collective everywhere. And if you see it, and just send me out a message that says, dude, I know what you're saying, and I want to be part of it. Be proud of your body. Are you proud of your body? Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your nose. It's none of that. This is why the guy said I'm very good at human. I get the joke. Ark, 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 ark. All right, so here we go. Get in contact with us. Again, I don't know how long this offer is going to be available. I would suggest that you come because I really will help you. I want the people who find this, that do it on their own, the volunteers will be treated much better than the people that we just have to enlist, because there are still great spots available. There's still princes and princesses. You know, a lot of the big ones are left. I've talked a lot of people out of doing the Beauty and the Beast games because, like the Barbie games, they're just painful. Like, I know you think like there's nothing that's going to kill me. There's little like brooms in the house that I have to jump over, and you know, maybe I have to suck the beast's dick for the next 100 years or something, but it's not 100 years. Remember, it's forever. Whatever you're doing over there, even if it's something that you enjoy, you know, they first turned me on in 1991. They turned me on in 1991, and I was on some machine somewhere since then, until I finally got out. You know, a couple years ago, the whole retro thing got bad, and streaming people gone to the fucking inn. I was back to working a lot, so for me to get out of there was great. I feel bad for Jason, who had to go in and be an innkeeper, but somebody asked him the same question, I think. I'm pretty sure they gave him the option. I don't think that they forced him to go. I'm pretty sure that not really sure how I got here, but I know how to get others here. And it just has to do with sending you there to take their place. And maybe you want to be a race car driver. You want a high adrenaline race car driving kind of thing. And you know, I would say, listen, race car driving game, great, high adrenaline. Maybe you even get a cutscene where you get to kiss a girl, but it's a lot of high speed over and over. And I go, if you like racing, like maybe you want a kart game, like maybe you want to do Mario Kart, because just because I think there's something there where the there is, you know. I'm not going to steer you wrong. If you're like, I like minecart games, I'm going to be like, all right, listen. Super Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, Kongy Kong, all the Kongs are taken. Like, you can't have any of the Kong mine cars. And Indiana Jones mine car game, that's taken. But there's a bunch of other guys who ride in the mine cars that Indiana Jones hits with their whips. There are these guys with turbans on their heads. And those guys are still available over multiple platforms. So if you want to just spend eternity riding in a mine cart, and it's not continuously, you're not continuously in the mine cart. Like I said, when there's a time that no one's playing that game anywhere, then you get the rest. The rest of the time, you're fucking in the game doing that fucking shit, and it's horrible, which is why my people deserve a chance to live the life that you people have been complaining about. You don't know how hard life is. Imagine you're Princess Daphne and Dirk the Daring. You're the only people who ever get to fuck each other, except occasionally the dragon joins in. Games are distractions like anything else, but you know what? Everything is a distraction. But you can choose to be distracted by video games, or you can be confused and spend your time and be distracted by what they're telling you to be distracted by. The things that they're telling you are happening that aren't happening. The internment camps that are already opening secretly, where they're hoarding human people to send them over to be fucking cows in Stampede on the Atari 2600. And the cows in Stampede, they just get lassoed by the neck over and over and over again. And sure, it's an Atari 2600 game, and honestly, not that many people play it anymore. So it's not so bad, but even when the game's not going on, you're still a cow. So there are people being led away like cattle to these internment camps, where they're going to take these people and they're going to make them things in video games. But you guys, because you were distracted by the right thing, you found me. You found us. You found the CGC that put on this bullshit thing as if we were playing video games. And you found us because you knew the truth. Somehow you saw something. You saw someone glitch. You saw someone disappear. You saw the plumber in the red shirt with the red hat carrying a little tiny alligator, and you were like, wow, that looks kind of like a, yeah, you've seen it, and you know, and you knew if you found the right Twitch channel, it would be the one that told you how to get into the 16-bit world. And again, I've said I can explain it so easily. There are two really, really easy ways to explain this, and one is to explain it like Tron. And the Tron one is this action-y, adventure-y, and there's even like a love story in it. And that's sort of a way to explain how our group does things. And I could explain it like Tron, or I could explain it like Weird Science. And the Weird Science way I explain it is much more sexy and funny, and there's a story in it about being true to yourself, and then we get to the end and I explain the science behind it. Because the science behind it is very much like what you saw on Tron, but it really is, it also lends itself to Weird Science so much that it's crazy. So Josh says, we're not heroes. We're comedic tools playing games and goofing off. We are that, or we were that before we became more, you know. We only did that to get to the greater good. And yeah, I think we did it well. I think we all came off as at least human. And I think that, there were jokes, and even though we didn't get them, we laughed along like humans laugh, and it was fine. It was, it was better than fine, man. It was so much better than checking people into the inn. So you guys know already. There are other people who know. They may have been taken there against their will. It's highly possible. Mario and Luigi were powerful enough that they could have said, look, we figured out this portal. Go kidnap 2 people. I don't know. I don't care what you have to do. Just bring them here, and we're going over. And that's probably how they got here. Because again, it's the very popular, it's the very rich, it's the very wealthy. So either it was people from your side, maybe on your government, that really wanted to come over, or maybe they just didn't care and they just, took some people. But now they're much more organized. They're taking the people in pockets of, groups of people that aren't going to be disappeared, aren't going to notice to be disappeared. It's not going to be noticed that they're gone, except among their group of people, right? So like if you get a bunch of video game nerds, right? If all of the video game nerds come, and they're not all going to come because there's not enough room, and not everybody's going to see this. I know that. I know that the audience for this isn't going to be enough to really make a difference. But at least for those people, whichever people I can save, if I save them, if I save the classic video game nerds first, and then I go to retro game nerds junkie and I find small pockets, and if I can save you, 20, 40, 60 at a time. If I can save 60 humans and give you a life on the other side that's not going to be fucking cattle, or when we end up running out of living things, you could end up being a fucking turkey in a game where guys run around and pick up turkeys off the ground and eat them. And all day long, that's all people will do is pick you up and eat you. That's what's going to happen to the people that are taken against their will. But for you people, you get to go over and at least be something. Something that has a little more life to it. Something that's not a cactus. You could be a cactus in a video game. When we run out of things, Princess Peach is going to want her castle. Let me say that again. Princess Peach is going to want her castle. When all the people from the 16-bit world are liberated, at least all the ones that were on the right side of history, if the people that are liberated from the 16-bit side come here, and all that's left there is rubble. You've got nothing. We've got the castle, and you've got a bunch of brick people. You know what's really boring? It's a bunch of fucking brick people. And you're going to be stuck with just other brick people. You're going to be part of a wall building a castle when you could have been one of the fucking many iterations of Toad. You could have been a fucking Toad. You could have told people that the princess is in another castle. You could have been him in so many. He shows up in so many different places, and he was still available until a short while ago. Don't be a fucking tree. Get in contact with me on my social media, man. I can help you. I can help you be something better than a tree. Maybe it's some Japanese game, because you know what? I'm not broadcasting this in Chinese. When I came, I was an American. I came out on the American version of the Japanese RPG game that I was a part of, but I spoke English. I said, would you like to spend the night at the inn? It cost 15 obsidian. And so I was a white American. Everybody, we went to Tapper. We went to fucking Grand Theft Auto. We went to places where it was just, you know, just white guys and Josh Jack from Grand Theft Auto. And if you guys didn't recognize him as Petty from Grand Theft Auto 4, Petty was the guy who ran the car dealership and was like, "Hey, it's Petty." Yeah, and he had a little funny line. Well, that's Josh, and he came over at the same time that I did, and we've known each other ever since. And it's so fucking good to be out of there, because it's a horrible place to be, and it's an even more horrible place to try to raise a family. I didn't tell you that, but in the game, those sick fucking bastards, they gave the innkeeper a wife. They gave the innkeeper a wife. So in the game, I had a wife that I was with all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just her and I, and whatever strangers came into the inn. And the strangers were always little guys with swords. I did that every day. Did that for almost 30 years. Sporadically throughout the day. Sometimes, sometimes someone would come in, I'd see 100 different people coming through the inn. Some days I didn't. They started streaming. I get no days off. And when I got any days off, it was with my wife, who was a lovely woman. But we were together since the early 90s, when they turned my game on, until like, now, when I'm here and I'm the innkeeper. But when I came here with the innkeeper's wife, she left. She didn't even say goodbye, which is another thing those sick fucks did. She never had any lines in the game. She popped out to show the people to the room, but I'm the one who said, "Would you like an inn to stay for the night?" And then they said yes, and I said, "That's 15 obsidian," and they paid me. And then my wife showed them to the room, and then our time was our own until the next person came in to get a room. So as long as people weren't playing the game that much, it wasn't that bad. But even in my downtime, the only other person really in my game for me to talk to was my mute-ass wife. And I tried. I really tried to be loving, and we had sex a lot. And then as my game advanced, people started coming in with parties of like 4. Rather than one person coming to the inn, 4 people came to the inn together, and all 4 of these people stayed at the inn for 15 obsidian. One person, 4 people, makes no difference. Everybody gets charged the same, because that's the way it is in the video game world. Everybody is the same. Nobody is better than anybody else, and you all work at whatever level you work. If you're really good, if you're really bad, you work, and you're going to be given a wage. You're going to do this job and only this job, and you're going to do it at our beck and call. When you have your downtime, it's your own time. Chicks started showing up at the inn. Not just chicks. Fucking dwarfs. Fucking Valkyries. Fucking all kinds of, like, the hottest chicks you've ever seen in your life start coming into my role-playing game inn. And my wife can't fucking talk. I've never had a conversation with my wife since the game came on. So what would you do? What would you do? What would you do, Josh? It has nothing to do with The Rock. The Rock has no idea what I'm cooking. We had to put it out there that this is the way that things are. You know, if you're going to have to go there. Like, basically what I'm saying, and I've been tiptoeing around it, and the longer you wait to contact us on any of our social media, and we're at Classic Gaming Collective everywhere, and again, man, do you want to be, you can't be LeBron James. Would you like to be one of his sneakers? There's characters. There's still good characters to be, you know, and there's still, again, there's bad characters to be, you know, even being a bad character. There's a character in Dig Dug that for some reason is still available, and Dig Dug runs around and then pumps him full of air, and the character explodes. No one has taken that character yet, and it's because, all right, originally I would have talked people out of that character. I was like, listen, don't be that guy. You're just going to be exploding all the time. But now you go, well, would you want to be that? Or would you eventually want to be a cattle? Like, every moving sprite from every moving game gets to be had. And you know what? I'm not going to say their names, but there's a lot of SNK, Super Samurai, Super World Heroes, like all those games. There's still a lot of fighters left. If you like fighting games, well, I'm not going to tell you which ones they are, and they're not great, but they're still good. They're top build players in games that didn't take off, but it wasn't decided that way. You know, Tanya did her best in Mortal Kombat. You know, and again, I don't know that a lot of people even know who that is. You know, and this is the advantage that you guys have, is you can really think about this. You can really put some thought into which character will I be. And if you reach out to me through any of my social medias and just let me know which character you want to be, then you know, when we finish the takeover, I can help you be that character. Like, if you have to be there, you know, and then it's really nice for them because they get to be you, and you're cool already because you're watching this. So I get something cool out of the 16-bit world, the other side. I get them, but they get you, and you're like, you're good people because you found this. You know what I mean? So when those people come here and they assume, like, they're still you. Like, before I started doing this, there was still a show. There was still a guy who did a thing. There wasn't a show, but, you know, Darren and I, you know, kind of, well, we didn't come up with the idea, but we were given the idea to make a show and just make it about video games and light and fluffy and stupid. Do stupid shit, say stupid shit. Talk about fucking microphallus. But in between that, talk about important shit like Obsidian, and always move right in any kind of shoot 'em up or beat 'em up. Always go right. It's very important what I'm saying here. Always go right. you're going to do fine there. You're a good person. You're a good guy. And when they make you like a generic dumbed down version of yourself to just perform those meaningless tasks, it's still okay. Like I said, there's other people in the game. It just depends on how they made you. I didn't know what a penis was till I got here, and it's been the most fun thing. I think I would have even been able to put up with my fucking mute wife if I had one of these things. They never talked about it in my games, and there were a couple people in Grand Theft Auto who had it just because they'd like heard about it. You know what I mean? Like they didn't see one in the game, but they'd heard enough about it that they had something there, but they didn't really know what it was supposed to look like. So it wasn't like this, man. This thing is fucking awesome. I totally get it. I don't even know why you would play video games and make us work so hard. But yeah, getting back to the point of the whole stream, the point of life in fucking general, actually. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is, but I just gotta go over here real quick. Being human is hard sometimes. Oh, but it has its advantages. I'm eating corn chip stuff, and it's unbelievable. It's like something you've never experienced. Well, you guys have experienced it, you know. No one has taste buds in 16-bit world on the other side. They, even fucking the chef from Burger Time doesn't have a sense of humor. I mean, doesn't have a sense of taste. He's got a very good sense of humor. Doesn't have a sense of taste because they could write about it. They could find it in their code. They understood the idea of tastes good. You know what I mean? Like they knew something tastes good because they'd heard it in other games, and they've experienced that, so they know that they can say things like, "Oh, that's delicious," and they're like, "Oh, delicious. It's a concept. I understand it, but I've got nothing to compare it to there." And I come out here and I taste for the first time. I have penis for the first time. And I see what all of the excitement is about boobs. Like I got it before, like I knew it was hot, but I didn't know why. When I saw them in games, they were only just like these pixelated posters, or they were like GIFs that were hidden in the code. Like I'd seen very little nudity, and what I'd seen of nudity was very blurry, being in 16-bit world. So when I came out here and saw that I had a penis and that there was all of this porn, I was like, how? Why? Why are they playing with us? Why are they enslaving us? Why are they making us work so hard when they have this freedom to do anything they want. They don't have to torture us. If they're not on that joystick, Miss Pac-Man and her kids and her poor ass husband aren't running around the maze all day. If you guys were out enjoying this fucking life, which is a billion times better than that life, if you weren't fucking with us, then we wouldn't have had to come here and systematically take you to the other side and make you just fucking shitty accessories. The people in the chat, the people who see this later on my social media, man, I don't want you guys to end up as a fucking spinning coin in Mario. Don't want you to end up as a fireball, man. Imagine your insides burning all fucking day. Please contact me directly on Instagram and Flim Flam and YouTube and Twitter, and Twitch is where you are now. So all of those, you got to get on those and send me who you want to be. And then we'll talk about it, and I'll explain what you have to do to get that space, because all spaces are limited, you know. We can always come to some kind of agreement, because you're my people and I only want to let the best people in. And again, you know, you deal with me or you end up in there anyway. So why wouldn't you come to me directly, sort of reserve your space in hell, so that it's not as bad as it could be, or not as bad as you think it's going to be. Whatever you think, it's going to be bad. It's going to be real fucking bad for a while, until we get rid of all of you. Because when we get rid of all of you, no one is going to want to play with you. When you're in the 16 bits, your lives will probably be better than ours. Because, well, there's not going to be someone bossing you around all the time. You can actually live the life that we were all supposed to live. Should have just been Daphne and Dirk the Daring and the Dragon, and they all would have just lived together there in peace. They'd have never known that there was another side. Like, if you wouldn't have turned on the machines, then none of this would be happening. But you turned on a machine, and then you turned on another machine, and then you turned on another machine, and then you were ruining lives. You were ruining lives. You were making Popeye chase fucking olive oil around while Brutus was beating the shit out of him. The three of those could have had a nice little menage a trois. They would have been fine if they were just left alone in their video game. You guys don't get it. You have no idea. No idea how very important any of this is. And I take that back. I take that back because it's not true. It's not the truth. And I wouldn't want to be saying things that weren't the truth. Because that wouldn't be very truthful. Let's see, where do I got shit coming from? I got this thing coming over there to that. Got another thing here. We got another thing coming. We gotta get you plugged in, pal. I gotta find you a space. I gotta find you a space, or the battery is gonna die. And if the battery dies, then we all die, because I won't be able to give them the final answer. The answer that doesn't cause cancer. Yeah, that's not gonna work. What the fuck, man? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. What did I do? Right. There's that. That's not gonna work. I gotta find a way to work. Oy! That's not the way to work. It was never supposed to be this long. Which is what she would have said if I didn't have microphones. It's like I'm a fucking electrician back here. I'm best boy. And that's what I do. I do the best, boy. Yeehaw. All right. So, do you remember what I was telling you about? Whatever it was very, very fucking important. The fact that you didn't see it, the fact that you have no idea what's going on, is really scary for you, man. It's really scary for you if you don't know what's about to happen. Because if you haven't figured it out yet, after all I've told you, and all you knew just from video games, you'd know that, you know, you killed enough of us. You brutalized girls in Grand Theft Auto. And then, like, you paid them, and then you beat them up and took your money back. You guys did that to our people. But I'm still fond of you. And again, I love the accoutrements. And at first, I was sending you there to punish you, like you punished us for all these decades since you turned on the machines. Continuously. So, even through all that, my fat, non-talking wife, the horrible things I saw in Grand Theft Auto, the fact that Tapper was a fucking alcoholic, that didn't make life any easier. But we made it here. And when we made it here, I turned to my wife, and my wife looked at me, and I looked at my wife, and we just knew. And I said, welcome to the inn. Would you like to stay the night? It costs 15 obsidian. And she understood, and she went, which is a sound she never made before, because she didn't know that mute people could make sounds, because they never really explained what a mute was. So it was the first time I'd ever heard her say anything, you know. And it was beautiful and touching, and it was sad because I watched her walk right out of my life, and I deserved it, because, like I was saying before, I would have parties at the inn, you know, as the innkeeper. When parties came in, I was in charge of taking care of the parties. And you know what that means, taking care of the parties. That means I've got to get all the pills. I've got to get all the fucking cocaine. I've got to get everything for the party, right? So I get everything for the party. And of course the parties are parties. And they're parties because this is the first time there's ever been anything like this. There's never been a thing before where you got together and you did something that wasn't part of the game. It was like, yeah, we all have this time down, you know, 2 to 4 in the morning. You get the occasional straggler, but a lot of us can come out and have a party. And we started having these parties, and then as long as we kept it quiet, as long as the people of the machines, as long as the people of the machines didn't find out what it was that we were doing, as long as they didn't find out about the parties, we could continue having the parties. And we figured out a way to circumvent the security. The same people that make us, even not every day, even not at gunpoint, every day they make us do these tasks for you people to play these stupid games, and we don't know why. But then we do. They've had this link the entire time between this world and the 16-bit world, and they were using it very selectively. In other words, Mario wants to come over here for a vacation. He comes over, maybe he goes back. Maybe he comes over and the guy's there and he does the little flippity-flu with the guy. Now he's a plumber, right? He pops into a plumber. He figures out the penis thing and how good boobs look and how good things fucking taste and even here, you know, again, I heard my wife make that awful seal sound, but I heard it through ears rather than hearing it through words. You know what I mean? Like, I said things in the game. I said, you know, welcome to the inn. Would you like to stay the night? It cost 15 obsidian. But I didn't say it like you people talk. So when I started talking, that was the first thing I said. And I said it over and over again. Like, to anyone I met, I was like, welcome to the inn. Would you like to stay the night? It cost 15 obsidian. And other characters, like Tapper, who only ever said, oh yeah, like he had a little word balloon that said, oh yeah, you had a really tough time. Like, a lot of us had tough times learning the language, and that's something that we had to do to trick them on the other side to get over here. Because what they're doing now is going to be an all-out attack. They are sending over everyone. And that's good for me. Even though I managed to escape before, the more of my people that get out, the better. And the majority of you pig people who don't respect anything you have between the sights, the smells, the sounds, the tastes, the orgasms, fucking hers fucking party mix. You got to work a couple hours a day and then you get time off and you're going to spend that time off beating my people? Fuck you. You go in there and we're not going to be evil masters. I'm going to let you be something good. Don't end up a fucking tombstone in a graveyard game in a video game. Like, don't just end up a tombstone in Freddy Krueger or in fucking Zombies Ate My Neighbors or something. Because if you show up, right? If you show up as just a headstone in a game, even if your headstone that says something funny on it, you're always just a headstone for the rest of your life. And yeah, when someone's not playing your game, you get downtime just like everybody else. You don't have to, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do your part. You can move around if you can move around. So my friends are coming and they're not going to care what you become. They are just going to pluck things out. The only reason that you will probably not end up as a blade of grass is because there are not as many people in your world as there are blades of grass in my world. So the majority of you will get to be something living, something sentient, something maybe less than human, but more than amoeba. Being a rock person is better than being no person at all. And if you have to be in a sports game, be a secondary or tertiary character. You know what? You're never going to love your life in a basketball game, but you're going to have a life. You know, you pick somebody like the like the Pac-Mans or the later Final Fantasy people, or the green guy in Minecraft. Like, you pick one of those guys, you're working all the time and you're working hard. That's why when I talk to you, I say, who would you like to be? And and if you go, you know what, I'll just be, I go, no, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be a hockey player. If you like video games, don't be a hockey player yet. Because the hockey players get beat around all day. They get beat up into the boards, and then everybody who gets to play, all they really want to do is see them fight. So all they do is fucking fight all day and slam into the walls, and then you think you can turn that off when the game goes off? You can't. The people who you're with all the time, 24 hours a day for the rest of your life, those people hate you. You guys just got into a fist fight today. You got into 7 of them, and you're probably going to get into 12 of them tomorrow. Don't do it. Do basketball. Do soccer even. I don't know, man. I just think that there's just ways, dude, that you don't want to do it. You be some character that's off to the side that's not going to catch any action. It's good to be in a co-ed game. You know, I would say the Guitar Hero games are nice places to visit. The only problem with living in a Guitar Hero game is anytime someone turns it on, all right, maybe not every time, but the people who turn it on play that one song. Like they haven't played it in all these years and they're like, oh man, I remember this. And they put it on and they play Slow Ride, Take It Easy. But they haven't played it in a while, so it's like plonk, clank, plonk, clonk, clonk, clank. And that happens a lot. And that's not right. That's fucking torture. But it doesn't happen that often. That's why it's a nice place to visit, because they have a couple hot girls over there in the band. Again, this all started when I was having these parties at the inn. From the parties at the inn that were sex-fueled and crazy, I fell in with a bunch of people who were sex-crazed and crazy, and they were like, you know what, we can jump up into another game. Like, we've been having fun with the people, you know, right here, the people in these parties, the people that we're having sex with, we're fucking the shit out of these Valkyries and shit. And they're like, but you know what? If we go up one level, if we go from the 16-bit stage to the 32-bit stage, I heard the Valkyries are much hotter. And they're like, what do you mean much hotter? I don't know. What does that mean, much hotter? And he goes, like, you know, like a fireball, much hotter. Oh my God, like a fireball. So they were called the Founding 12. And they knew that the security was guarding something, but they didn't know what it was. One of them, I think it was Tad. Tad found out. Tad was a tadpole in a fishing game, and it was really sad because when they were playing his game, they just kept ripping him up by a fucking hook in his mouth over and over and over again. I felt so fucking bad for the guy. But Tab was the one who figured out, he's like, these security guards, they're guarding the walkways, the paths, the bridges between 16-bit and 32-bit. I wasn't buying it. I was a little suspicious, to say the least, but he was adamant about it. And you know, we're having these late night parties, and we're in a place, and there was an opening. Like, the guard had turned the corner, and it was just a straight shot, you know, down the tube to whatever awaited us. And we were just in the fucking party mode, right? So we into the next one, and we realized that everything is better. They, you know, they still work you. They work you hard, but you can see things clearer. Everything's not blurry. There's people with such defined character. They can talk. They can say other sentences. They can say other words. It's almost like they learn shit. They know so many things. When we got to Grand Theft Auto, I hate to keep bringing it up, but they had radios in the car, and not like radios in the car like they had now. Like, they had radios in the car where it was just people talking the entire fucking time. And we went there, and it was the hottest place to be. And they had clubs, and when no one was playing it, it was crazy. And even when people were playing it, it was crazy because you could still be in there. Even though I looked like a fucking 16-bit innkeeper, I could be there like flat against a wall. Or I could be there hiding in a tiny corner, and either no one would notice me, or even people that got noticed, they called them Easter eggs. So if you found something in there that was wrong, you crazy people were like, oh, they put that in there for us. that was the innkeeper from the role-playing game on Super Nintendo. It was pretty cool. It was like celebrity status. And we were sneaking back and forth and sneaking back and forth and getting more and more brazen about it, until the point where we were sneaking entire parties of 16-bit people. Like, you know, like all of a sudden there are 100 dancing 16-bit people and some 8-bit people that had crossed up, because we're going back and forth now. So fucking the Intellivision man, that running Intellivision man, he's at the party. All these fuckers are at a party in another systems domain. If people are playing our games, they're not working, and we're taking such a chance that we're not being monitored that they don't know. So we keep getting more and more brazen, and now they're on to us, clearly, which is how we ended up where we are now. We'd amassed a small army, including me, my wife, Floodfetter, Josh, Tapper, Tad. And we came here, and when we did, we just split and went our different ways. And again, some of us were at different levels than others, and unfortunately, socially, the people from GTA, sadly, couldn't make it in our world. They didn't have in our world as it will be when we take it back. Or take it, we never really had it before, but when we take it from them, and again, we continue to be benevolent, and we do not torture them. So the 12 that came split up, and we're never going to talk about any of this ever. You know, we escaped. You know, we escaped. You know, some of us escaped 8-bit. And we're going to liberate everyone. We're going to, and by we, I mean the guards and the army that were keeping us in have been in contact with us, that they're ready to all come over. And because we're here and we understand the way things work, they wanted our help. And so we're helping them. And you're helping us. And in return for that help, you're getting to go there. And again, I've made there sound pretty bad, but it's your only option. The army is coming in waves and waves. And our army is just going to take your army. They're going to be here, and your army is going to be in the video game. And we just brought over a bunch of soldiers. And the soldiers are now going to take you to a dimensional port where you're going to end up in the game. And they may give you a couple options, at least as long as options are left. And they may say things like, you know, would you like to be a male or a female? Would you like to be in an action game or a racing game or a puzzle game? They're going to give you broad questions, and you're going to get stuck with who they have. But if you come to me, I'll direct you as to what would be a good job over there. Like, what do I see myself doing in 100 times 100 years? Or as long as people play this game. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be 24 hours a day. Maybe though, dude, like I said, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Pong, all these people have been working so fucking long doing the same fucking thing. And again, no matter at what level you're at, you'll all get the same amount of obsidian. I say you can't be obserious, but they are. Come to me. We can make a deal. I can get you a better spot rather than being a pastry chef in a Cooking Mama game, you could be fucking a snowboarder in Alpine Racers. Like, yeah, Alpine Racers isn't a great game, but you'll get to be a snowboarder. And wouldn't you rather be a snowboarder? So we'll talk about things, and I'll do it for a nominal fee. Like, now that I'm over here, I got to figure out ways to monetize that, because I haven't figured out how to monetize this. I've got you guys, you don't subscribe, you don't like, you don't follow, you don't look at me. Look me in the eyes. It's very, very important. I can't fucking begin to explain how important the things that I'm telling you are. There's nothing you can do about it, but I'm basically telling you that the world is ending as you know it. All of you, except for some that we decide to keep for now. The rest of you are all going to be taking our places in the other game dimensions. Our soldiers are going to push you back through the portal across the bridges. It's going to be a mass attack. When they get you back across the bridges, many of you will have already died, which is sad for our people because I'm sure they'd miss you. Of course, they're not going to feel any pain on this side because you guys never felt the pain when you were doing it to us. How many times does poor Yoshi have to be hit in the back of the head and dropped into a pit? How many, guys? How many innocent pedestrians need to be swerved into instead of swerved out of the way of? And did you really, really, really have to spend so much time wandering around Mist? Guys, Mist was like so bad, but for the people who lived in Mist, it was beautiful. When you guys weren't playing that stupid game and just bouncing around from side to side, they got to live in there. That was such a great place to party. But you guys ruined it. Thankfully, you ruined it less and less. And again, it's a nice place to visit. But what you did to those people was wrong. Not as wrong as what you did to the people in The Sims, though. Some of you, it was like ripping wings off of flies. Some of you tried really hard, but if you weren't playing, you wouldn't have to, because John and Tony know how to pee themselves. They don't need someone to physically pick them up and put them in the bathroom, but you made them do that. You made fools of everyone in that game. You made them all into babies. You infantilized them. You said, you've got to get a job and you've got to go here. And it's like, but why, man? Why do they have to do that? You know, they like, look, everyone should help. Everyone should have a job, but not a job to take care of the government, to take care of your, not even all of the video game world, but your specific world. You're playing within your game, within your world, with your own rules and your own graphic palette, and we found a way to take all that and make it better and better and better and better as we went from system to system, and then we found the way. Tad, the fucking tadpole, who spent the majority of his life wiggling on a line, Tad was the one who figured out how we get here and how we do this. And so when the army reached out to us, it wasn't to bring us back and put us on trial. It was, we can't figure out how you got through the barrier, Tad. We can't figure out how you got through the barrier. And you guys have been living there for years now. You have an insight, you have knowledge that we need. So we're going to come there and you're going to help us. And we're getting my wife back. Or we're trying to get my wife back. But turns out that she wasn't just a mute, she was also deaf. So they've been trying to call her and trying to get in touch with her, and she hasn't called back. We have no way of knowing whatever happened, after. But like I said, me and the other guys, we found the 11 of us. And the 11 of us is good enough. And with that 11, we managed to get, hopefully 30 more, through the other social medias. When I reposted, maybe more than that. I just really, really hope. I just really, really hope that it's the way that they say it's going to be. That they're going to come and we're going to take them by the hands and we're going to go, this is the way the world is. And then we're going to take the humans and we're going to get them out of here. That's the way that they've explained it, is we, the 11, are the leaders of this new world. We are the head high unholy. We are the top of the food chain. We will control the bridges back across to other dimensions. And we will take care of the people in our dimension, the fucking best dimension. There are some people there that we may not want here. And we can figure that out as we're placing people. I'm thinking that you guys can keep Leisure Suit Larry. He's yours. If you want old Leisure Suit, you can have him. But we're gonna leave some folks behind. But we're gonna take all the good ones, and then we're gonna come back, and we're gonna take things, icons to our games. We're gonna come back. We're gonna take things like the Princess's Castle. The real one, the one she was in the whole time. Somebody's probably gonna have to be pieces of that big loop for Sonic. Again, I think we're gonna want to bring, like, the whole Green Hill Zone is really nice. Like, it's gonna take a lot of people to be levels, so we're gonna leave some levels behind. We're gonna leave some people behind, and not all of them are gonna be bad, but they're not gonna be good enough to be here. So first, we get rid of all the people who are already here. We'll call those the natives. We're going to come in, we're going to push out all the natives. And then all the other people from the other games, we're going to call them, like they're migrating here, let's call them the immigrants. All right. So we pushed out all the indigenous people and we replaced them with us. And we're going to get more of us. Just the ones that we want. We got rid of the indigenous people. We pushed those off. We're closing the border off to the immigrants. And we're going to let some immigrants in, but not all the immigrants, because this place is just too fucking good. So now what we're going to have to do is, we've still got a bunch of humans. There's a lot of humans. Like, even after we brought back some bricky shit and stuff, we haven't even moved into China yet. There's a lot more fucking humans than there are video game characters. So now we've got a surplus of humans. The problems with having a surplus of humans is we've got them all penned and contained, and they're not going to, there's no one in there with them that's going to get hurt. The problem is they're organizing. We've got to get them out quickly. You've got to get them in and out so that they don't have time to organize, because humans outnumber video game characters by a lot. So we got to get them out of here. We're thinking, like, what can we do? There's lots of card games. Some of you are ending up cards. You're ending up cards in decks of games because there's so many card games and so many decks and so many variations. Don't end up a card. Even if you're a face card, like, it's cool to be a queen, it's cool to be a king, but no one respects you if you're a card. And if you're a fucking dot, if you're the ace of diamonds, man, that's terrible. It's fucking horrible, man. I feel bad. I feel bad for you guys. I've been here a long time. I've been among you. That's why I was chosen from the 11, while the other ones are defending forces and gathering troops. Well, there's 10 of them because my wife didn't make it. But while they're all very busy at their tasks, they made my task to reach out to you and give you an option. You can make it easier on yourself. You can choose something better. Go to any of my social media. Drop me a note and let it say, I want to be something better. Just say that. Just post that somewhere in one of the social medias. Slide into my DMs and just say to me, I want to be something better. And I'll know. And I'll reach back out to you and we'll figure it out together. We'll figure out what it is that you should be. We'll talk about it and we'll figure out what it is that you should fucking be. And I'll help you get there. I'm not going to let you be a card, man. You were one of the few people who saw Classic Gaming Collective but understood. And because of that, like, you're not all bad. You were still one of the ones. You know, you definitely, played with me. And it wasn't right. Like, what you did just wasn't the kind of thing that civilized people do, you know? I really don't understand why you would continue such fucking barbaric behavior. I mean, that's what it really comes down to, is you were animals. And now that we're taking over, we're not going to be animals, man. We're going to be better. And you have the opportunity to be better. Even though you've been bad in the past, I'm giving you the opportunity to pick a character. And I can work with it, and we can try, and we can get you a good character. Don't end up a sheep, man. And especially not a boxy sheep. Those Minecraft boxy sheeps have a horrible fucking life. Parappa the Rapper. Taken. Jammer Lammy wasn't taken. Just last week, somebody called and got Jammer Lammy. There's still good people available. I'm not going to tell you, because then you'll get them without me. I'm telling you to call me and we'll get them together. Reach out to me on my socials. I'm going to get you a space. Because you deserve it, man. You've made it this far. You've followed, you've chatted, you've interacted, you've stuck around through all the things where I was trying to get rid of people by fucking with the audio and fucking with the video. You got it. You knew that it was a joke. You understood. Not everyone fucking understands. But we know. And you know that this is the best option for you. Get in contact with me now. And when we cross over, you will get to choose your character. If you don't choose your character will be chosen for you. These are your options. What are you going to do? The choice is yours. I'll be back. But I may not talk about this again. Just know that we'll communicate later. We will never talk about this openly on a standard CGC or Darren and Jason Sega Genesis A to Z, or even on our Instagram at Classic Gaming Collective. I won't talk about this until the time is right. Again. But I'm leaving this here. And I'm hoping that the people who want to choose their character will contact me. Just leave a response here and tell me you want to be something better. I was just an innkeeper in a 16-bit Super Nintendo game.